Hi everyone. Uh, Welcome to yet another edition of Let's Talk Design. I'm just waiting for our guest today. Thank you all for being a part of this series. We have a very special guest for today, and we'll be talking about how stone is a reflection of culture and context. You can go grab your tea and coffee, and can't wait to start. If you have any questions for our speakers on stone and how stone is a reflection of culture and context, please do drop them in the message box below. There is also an option to ask questions, so you can just put in your questions there. I'm just waiting for our guests to join in. Thank you all once again for being a part of this series. The series is called Let's Talk Design, and we introspect how stone can be used in design, and what are the various challenges, what are the explorations that one can have, and we've had more than 40 sessions with architects and designers all over the country who've contributed from their bandwidth. And our special guests for today are now online. So I'm just going to invite them. Hi.
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 Hi. Can you see
How are
me,
you?
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. And I can also see you, hear you. Thank you very much for being a part of this series. I'm going to
Yes,
quickly
it's all up.
introduce. I'm going to quickly
Thank you for
introduce.
having us.
Yes, so I'll just quickly introduce you all, you both to our audience. So we have with us Design Doodle, which is a studio based out of Delhi, and I have with me Vijay and Maha, who are founders and principal architects at Design Doodle. Design Doodle is a New Delhi-based studio. It was founded in 2017, and their work spans varied typologies from residential, commercial, large-scale hospitality, and other commercial projects. Uh, their work focuses on creative and functional design, which create an experience for the end user. So we're really glad to have you with us. The format is
Thank you for the lovely introduction.
the format is really simple. We'll ask you about 5 questions, and then we open it up to the audience in case they have any questions as well. And we'll be
Sure.
talking about how stone is a reflection of culture and context. So we'd love to get your insights based on your experiences in working with stone. So if you're ready, I'll
Definitely.
straight away get into the conversation.
Yeah, we're ready. Let's begin.
Okay. So, could you share some examples from your own work where you have used tone, as a reflection of the context where this project is located?
Yeah, definitely. We recently had done this outdoor furniture store, which was a retail space. So the brief itself was to create a space that reflects outdoors as much as possible in an indoor environment. And the budget was, of course, a factor in choosing the materials. So the obvious choice was to go for locally sourced materials which are cheap and which also contribute to adding that outdoor feel to the space. So the material palette that we chose for the project was terracotta bricks, jalis, and Kadapa stone, which was sourced locally. It comes from South, but it's easily available these days. So we used it in a leather finish, and we used that on the flooring of our display pods for the furniture. And we also use these marble pebbles for the flooring of the entire space to create that outdoor feel and, even the sound to create a sensory experience of being in an outdoor
Yeah.
space. So when one walks on those pebbled paths, it creates a sound and makes you, transports you to a space
So
which,
yeah, kind
yeah.
of engaging all your five senses to the, while you go through the space and experience
So
it. The idea was, yeah,
yeah, that's why even the finish of stone was chosen in a rough leather finish because it contributes to that feeling of rawness
yeah,
that we wanted in that space. Apart from that, I think in interior projects also we try to use a lot of marble wherever the budget allows it and wherever it fits with our design intent.
yeah,
So like recently we're doing an apartment project where it's a very minimal design language that we're going for, but we've created this abstract flooring of black and white stripes that cuts right through a space to create, that impact of a bold element cutting through a minimally designed space. So we try and use all these small elements that have, for like a punch or like a statement in a space.
yeah. And apart, we did some villas also where we, tried and utilized a lot of marbles in terms of a lot of layers to it, a lot of richness in terms of depth and a lot of layers, overflow of color. So the idea is to, use a sort of sustainable material which could be easily sourced and should look beautiful, and at the same time, it should, respect what the intent of the project is in terms of, end user and our sort of design intent. Yeah.
Right. So, according to you, based on your experiences and your projects, what are the sort of, let's particularly talk about Indian context, right? Indian design.
Yeah.
What are the native stones, like you mentioned terracotta, right? That's one of them. What are the other native stones that work that fit into this context very well?
See, any stone that is
Yeah.
naturally available naturally fits into the context for obvious reasons. But I think we see a lot of use of sandstones and granites and Indian marbles
Yeah.
in our country because it has existed in our environment since such a long time and it has beautifully responded to the climate as well. So it's best to, I think whatever is available locally always
Fit well to the, context. The whole point of context is like the availability and how it's going to respect the current condition or its, local conditions of the particular region. So, for example, if you look at the Indian map, you will find there are a lot of sandstone and marble in Rajasthan. Then there are a lot of slates in upper
hilly
hilly areas.
regions,
If you go to south, you will find a lot of granite and yeah,
limestones like
lime.
Kadapa.
Yeah, Kadapa, the stone which are so, stones which we hear on a daily basis are so abundant and the usage is so rich in terms of, yeah. And apart, the other thing also, when we talk about the context, everything, right now that uh, gap is kind of blurred because since right now we can import any marble from anywhere, there is no limitations in terms of what you can, do in your project, and the client also have a lot of vision when they go and travel all around the places. So I think the context has really, the line has blurred right now.
And when you talk
Yeah,
about culture, so culture itself is ever evolving. So
yeah,
yeah, I
so
mean, it has been used in our country since a long time, but the culture itself is evolving. So even the usage of stone, maybe the stone remains the same in certain cases, but the usage of it is, evolved
yeah,
in a way. So that
so
also plays a role in how stone is being used these days.
so
Okay. So could you share some examples of stones that help to bridge that gap, right, between traditional architecture and modernity in design that is more relevant today?
Yeah, I mean, all these stones that we just mentioned, for example, marble. Marble is such a versatile stone. So there are endless possibilities of using it, whether in traditional design language or a modern design
yeah,
language. So there are so many possibilities. Like we see, apart from the regular usage of marble for, floorings and facades and interiors, for wall cladding. These days we also see it being used in a lot of furniture pieces and decor items.
Yeah.
So like for example for tabletops, for accent furniture pieces.
Yeah, even for small item like coasters, pen stand, the limit is endless. Yeah.
Vases, yeah, it's just endless, and we see some beautiful sculptures also being made out of it. And there are a lot of designers, Indian designers as well. Like for example, we really look up to like Rushad Shroff. So he's making these beautiful light pieces
Yeah.
with intricate carving in marble, and he's also utilizing the translucent property of marble to create
Yeah.
those pieces.
Yeah, and other
So
international designer also like Tom
yeah.
Dixon, and we
Yeah,
see a lot
Tom
of.
Dixon also has this series of marble lights, which
Yeah.
we see a lot of copies circulating in the market these days. But
Yeah.
yeah, the original idea behind it is beautiful, of using marble in various ways apart from the obvious ways.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are, in your work at the studio, what are the factors that influence your choices when it comes to stone?
There
Yeah,
are various factors to it. There are various factors involved,
I
actually.
think you can look at two ways. Sometimes happens when, sometimes as a designer, whenever we see a piece of marble which is like very unique and sourced from someplace on earth that never been seen before, then you fell in love with it and then you plan to use it. That is the one part, or I would say the one way of looking at it. But the other part is like whenever you approach a project, there are a lot of reasons and a lot
Yeah,
of
there's a whole
logic.
process that
Yeah.
is followed.
Yeah. So whenever we decide to choose a particular piece of marble or stone, then there are multiple reasons for it. It could be like the design intent, it could be like the budget of the client, it could be like what the look and the feel of the it, or the space and scale of the project. Like in commercial projects, we have bigger, larger scale. So any piece of pattern that we do on flooring or on wall, that is, you have that visibility. But when it comes to apartments and for smaller area, then its usage and it's the choices we make are
Yeah, for example, like if like he mentioned that the design intent, so that is a major factor, because if the design theme is a very minimal palette, then and you want everything to be in muted tones, then you'd go for marbles which are more quieter, more subtle, with very few grains, which are not very bold, which merge with the interiors. But if the theme or if the design intent is to create a very bold flooring, then
Yeah.
then the choices totally differ, because there's so much variety available in
And
marble.
also there are practical reasons also. For example, we were doing a project in Gurgaon only, and there was a lot of termite problem in Gurgaon. So the of choice. So we went for the marble, which is like durable in terms of, and would be would diminish the effect of termite, which is like a big problem in this region. So the kind of this external factor also leads you to kind of choices we make in terms of choosing a particular piece of material or marble or any other finish.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. So, could you, even weather, like you spoke about termite, right? Like real-time situations. Even weather has a huge impact on the way, cultures and designs evolve,
Yeah,
right?
true.
How do you think stone can be sort of fitted into that context?
When we talk about climate, the first thing that comes to my mind is like the global warming. If I talk about the bigger perspective, and there are a lot of repercussion that happened in in recent future. Even the places where we're living right now in Delhi NCR region, there are a lot of pollutions and there are a lot of acid rain and stuff like that, which is affecting whatever the external facade or any sort of cladding or any sort of flooring that we're using, which are exposed to such क्या कहते हैं,
Yeah, I think the
variations. Yeah.
perfect example for that would be the Taj Mahal, which had seen the yellowing of the marble, and even in Delhi, the Lotus Temple, which is clad in marble, so it is also
Yeah.
experiencing a yellowness that's happening to the marble because of the pollution. So it
Yeah.
is a huge factor now.
Yeah, so
because
once it was thought was that marble was like very sustainable in terms of external, but with time gradually we understood that the kind of changes that are happening in climate right now, the marble is getting affected.
Yeah.
So the
So that
whole
will make us,
definition
so that
of
makes us rethink
Yeah.
of how we can use what stones are suitable in today's day and age now in the current conditions, because even the weather is changing. So then we might as well not go for marble for external usage as much as we would prefer going for granites or sandstones.
Yeah, apart from this, I also read an article where it mentioned that there are a lot of effect on the particular sandstone that we had in Delhi region right now, red sandstone. So it is also affecting climatically. So the whole idea of sustaining this material and using in a architecture, it's going to take other technological intervention also, where we
Maybe
protect
the
them
kind
from
of
such.
finish we choose for it, then the kind of sealant you apply on it. So we'll have to go for those practical solutions to keep using the stones in our external areas as well.
Yeah.
Right, that's actually that you're absolutely right. So could you, taking off from this, could you share some tips on how a traditional material can be used in the modern day? Especially when in line with, let's say, a more contemporary aesthetic. How can, I mean, what are the ways? And you could just share some examples that you have sort of, tried out, you experimented with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Like currently, we're working on this farmhouse in Scenic Farm. So there, the entire theme of the house is a very modern, classical, aesthetic. So in that, we're proposing a study table, which is like a monolithic structure in a bold marble. So it feels like it's been carved out of a single piece of stone, and it, acts like that statement piece, like a modern, edgy element that stands out from the modern classical theme that we have for the place. So there are, endless possibilities here as well, where, we can use it as a punch. So even if we use a very intricately carved traditional element and place it in a very minimally designed space, then that also adds that edge to the space. But the usage is modern, but the element is traditional, so it fuses both styles together and acts like a statement piece.
Yeah. And it can be also used, for example, the lighting, the marble had sort of effect where it could be translucent and
Onyx.
Onyx, like, so, which is so widely used. But the application right now is just in terms of putting a light behind it. But we are trying in a project where we are trying to use it as a sunscreen, where where a lot of heat gain are coming in. So we can have that pattern which is natural and sustainable, and use it as a way to filter light in a way never been felt before, and at the same time being sustainable and sources locally
And
also.
even I think in terms of flooring, like inlay work, if we talk about it, so it is a traditional concept, but in modern designs, it's being relooked at, and there's a modern take on it by doing it differently with brass inlays or wood inlays. So you can create these beautiful patterns, and you can even use, like, I've always wanted to do it. I haven't got an opportunity right now, but I've always wanted to use these large chunks of marble, of exotic marbles, and create terrazzo flooring out of it, like a Venetian terrazzo. So yeah, there are endless possibilities really, and it's a very versatile material. So there's literally no limitations to the way you can use it in a modern aesthetic.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, that's super interesting. I think both the examples that you've shared are, I mean, we really look forward to seeing some of that work. So
Yeah,
last question. We've established that culture is really, really important, right? At your studio, how do you ensure that, culture becomes an integral aspect of every design project?
See, we feel that culture, although is definitely important, but there should not be a compulsion to, being stuck to a certain thought process, because we feel that culture, like I mentioned before, culture itself is ever evolving.
It's ever changing.
So, in fact, in today's world, the kind of exposure that people have started traveling so much, and the internet has made everything so accessible for people. So even their needs have started changing. So they have a strong Western influence to, the kind of things they expect from designers.
Yeah.
But a lot of But we try not to fall for that, to blindly replicate something just because the client wants it. It's our responsibility to follow a process of design, because there are a lot of factors a design which make a design what it is.
Yeah.
So we try to make sure that the proper process is followed, which respects the client's need, the client's budget, and the context. So all of that needs to be respected. But whether culture is being incorporated or not, that should come naturally in our project. It depends on
Yeah.
what the
You
project
should
demands.
you should really feel for that
It
particular
should
piece
come
of.
from within. It should not be like a forced thing
Yeah.
to just like, it should not be just for the sake of a trend. It should like respond to something. It should come up from. It should have a strong reason behind
Yeah,
it
there
as
should
to.
be logic. Like for example, there's a lot of architecture done by Doshi, Charles Correa. They are all like sort of very climate responsive and context responsive. So all their design reflect whatever cultural vernacular architecture has brought up till the time. So in a similar fashion, what we are trying to do right now is like we have some projects which are coming up where client, even though they are big houses, but client are inclined towards using a lot of glass. But right now, if you look at the this the region, particular region, it is quite hot. It's like for the 9 months we had a lot of heat gain. So we are trying to incorporate such contextual designs which are already being done by present in our culture and history, like the chhajjas and charukas and jalis
And yeah,
and
we're using a lot
uh,
of screens to filter out the effect of
yeah.
sun, especially on the western side, since
Yeah,
that's more
then the
harsh.
use of courtyards, like the double height courtyards, where
And the use of
yeah,
water bodies, which is
yeah,
again has been a very integral part of our culture to
mm,
bring down the temperatures inside.
yeah,
So there are all these solutions that you can work around to give the client what he wants, yet create a balance. So balance
yeah,
is very important.
yeah.
That's what
Yeah, so our intent
yeah.
is just to make sure that we take inspiration for our culture and heritage and use it in a balanced manner in our design. So which suitable for end user as well as, and which satisfy us as a designer also.
Okay. Super useful session. Thank you so much. I'm going to take some questions from the audience. We do have a lot of people have commented they've commented on your work, how much they love it. So great
Thank
job,
you.
guys. Somebody's asked, what should we use for kitchen countertops?
Oh, that's a very good
Yeah,
question.
that's a very interesting question. See, so this is again a cultural thing. So Indian cooking by culture has been very oily and full of spices, and the use of haldi is very prominent in Indian cooking.
And
So
a lot of masalas. Yeah,
yeah, a lot of masala. So
well,
that creates a limitation in a way that you use materials that can withstand that, which can be durable as well as stain proof. So granite is the best solution according to us. Granite is a perfect material for kitchen countertops since it's a
yeah,
very
if you talk
hard
about
stone.
sustainable
Yeah,
materials,
it's a very hard stone. It is long lasting. You can repolish it, rebuff it to create a new look. So it will last you years and it'll not stain. And so a very interesting thing that happened with us in one of our projects was a client was really inclined towards having a marble countertop.
a particular piece of
So
marble which she really loves,
yeah,
basically.
so although it's not advisable for Indian cooking, but the client was aware of the risks involved. So we made sure to make them aware that it would be a very risky matter and you might get stains. But then we found solutions around it. So we consulted some experts, and then we chose a marble. We had it treated to harden it and to make it stain proof. So it was a chemical treatment that we did to the marble. And then even while after installing it, we also applied another layer of sealant to make it, non-porous. So, and of course, we told the client that it would require a lot of maintenance and you
Yeah.
would have to be careful with stains and to not let it stain. So, yeah, so it worked in that case, but it was a very tedious process to reach there. So,
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like the complete partnership between client and the designer, where you
Which
are
is
able to
great.
achieve something that's not been
yeah,
done
if the
before.
client is willing to go that extra
Yeah.
step, then why not?
Yeah.
Well,
Then we are ready to put
absolutely.
extra.
think as a
Yeah.
designer, as an architect, I mean, everybody would love to have clients like that, and they literally become stakeholders in the project. So that's really really
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And we were very happy with the result it came out. The marble that we used was a pink Chianti, so it was a peach colored marble on the
Yeah.
countertop, and the entire kitchen was white. So it
Mm.
was like it came out beautifully. But yeah, we have our fingers crossed that it would last them for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Okay, one last question from the audience. How can one bring down the cost of Italian marbles?
I think you would be a better expert in this. But it eventually leads to what kind of marble you are using, and
Well,
you
we
know
can.
what kind of
I
thickness.
have an answer to that. You can bring it down by going to Italy and using it there because it's locally
Right.
available.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So more comments on how people are a big fan of your work. So great job, guys. Uh,
Thank you
the
so much.
last thing we actually ask everybody on the series is if you had to pick one stone that would be representative of your personality, what would that
Oh,
Tough choice. I think I would go for something like a pink onyx because I am completely obsessed with the peach color, and onyx is something that I really admire because of the translucency and the way the grains and the translucent nature of the marble, it how it appears and how it can be used in various forms with the use of light. So I really love that piece of marble.
yeah.
What about you?
I think I would go for black and white panda. I think like kind of
I
like
agree.
things in sort of extreme, nothing gray.
Bold and dynamic.
Yeah,
nice? Good. Completely different. Two
Yeah.
yeah,
completely different.
Actually,
That's
that's what
really
we feel in our specialty. A lot of clients have told us that we are two contrasting personalities, and that comes out in our design. So we tell them that you are getting two designers at the cost
the
of
cost
one.
of one. That's great. That's absolutely great. It also brings a balance to design, I guess.
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Okay, fabulous. Last statement, the series is called Let's Talk Design, hashtag Let's Talk Design. So what would, as design doodle, if you had to say one thing about Let's Talk Design, what would that be?
I think it's a wonderful initiative in itself, right? To bring about, the brains of the industries and talk about stuff that's never been discussed before. Like the questions being raised by our viewers right now, it's like they go through a lot of struggles and things, but this platform helps them to, reach out to us in a way that they can't in a regular manner. So I think that's a
Yeah,
great,
it makes a lot of important information accessible for people.
yeah.
Especially for design students who follow us regularly for tips and
Mm.
any help that they might need, any problems that they're facing.
And they also understand that there are a lot of market leaders like you, A class, so they understand that if they want to go for the marble or things like that, they can reach out to you. So the presence help them out to understand that there are people and
Who can help
industry,
you
yeah,
out.
who can help you out in a lot of things. So I think this is a great initiative. I think you should, keep doing it in a more grander scale also. I think that
Yeah,
would be wonderful.
that is the plan. That is the plan. So thank you for your kind words. A-Class celebrated 50 years last year, and so now, we started the series. So as a gesture of gratitude for you being a part of the series, A-Class will be planting a tree on your behalf, and you'll get a certificate as
Oh
well.
wow,
That,
that's wonderful.
that's really wonderful. You see, we love plants. You see, can behind
Yes,
us.
yes, I can see that. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, thank you for being a part of the A-Class journey, and we'll be good. We look forward to your good work and good luck with everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank
much
you
for
very much.
having us. It was a pleasure. It was an
Yeah, it's a
absolute
pleasure.
pleasure.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.